and get things started. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being here. Bruce, what do you have going this morning?
Let's do regular agenda, if you wouldn't mind. Spend a few minutes taking care of this. So before we get started, let's do the pledge, please. For folks that can stand, please do stand. If you have cover on, please remove your cover. And ready, begin. I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United
of the
States
United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thanks, folks. Let's go ahead and do any introductions for any folks that are new to ARES, new to the group, first meeting. It's coming up on just about a year since we've actually had one in person. So here we are again. Any new folks, wave at the screen, raise your hand if you know how to do that for the Zoom meeting. And if not, we'll go directly into announcements.
Anybody here for the first time, non-member visitors, anybody at all?
Yeah, here. Good morning, everybody. My name is James. I live in Oceanside, and I took the technician class yesterday and passed it. So here I am.
Very good.
James, congratulations.
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 Anyone else?
Good seeing you already, James.
Okay, I'm back here.
Yeah.
You guys had a long day yesterday. It looks like, like you guys worked like 6-7 hours for that. I appreciate everything what you did. Hopefully in the future I'm able to help you out.
I'm glad you're taking steps to get involved in the hobby. It's great.
That's the only way to do it.
James, what's your call sign?
I'm gonna let you know that on the upcoming Wednesday. I don't know yet.
Fair enough.
All right. Let's go back to Dave for a moment. Dave, section announcements, section related announcements, anything nationally, ARRL.
Okay, the next thing coming up, let's see, next week, we're going to have a presentation by Bill, K1CT, on the Coast Guard. And then on the 26th, we'll skip that one and not have anything going on. And then on January 2nd, we start off with Kids Day. And the 18th to the 20th of January is the next VHF contest. So a couple things coming up for keep us busy and off the streets, so to speak, for a while anyway.
Very good, thank you. And training or other section related announcements, Rob?
Sharing my screen here. Whoop. Hey, Dave, I need share screening enabled.
Let's see. That should do it.
Okay. Yep, going in. Let me know when you can see it, please.
Yep.
All right.
Got it.
Okay, so reminder that the Thursday evening, that's your canceled Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. Last week we had the bioenno power presentation. Today we've got the OES update presentation. Thank you, Dan, for being here. We've got the Coast Guard Auxiliary presentation on the 19th. As Dave mentioned, Kids Day is coming up. January meeting will be an annual EC roundtable, and reminders also about the VHF contest in January and winter field day. And we've got an NTS update coming on January 23rd. The very big person NTS will be presenting to us who lives in the Los Angeles area. And advancing slides here. One of these button slides. There There it is. Okay. A reminder that the 60-meter net is going well. We've got about 20 check-ins, regional coverage, and we meet on channel 1 after the 9 o'clock ARES HF net on 3105. We roll over to do 60 meters. Thursday evening nets. We're going to use, thanks to the Valley Center Amateur Radio Club, we're going to be using their Palomar repeater, which is listed there 146.235. That'll be our alternate repeater. So in case the OTI repeaters fail on us, then we can use the Palomar Club repeater. And then that way, simplex, if we have to do it, will be a deep reaching contingency. But we had the net control a couple weeks ago in El Cajon, trying to do simplex out of El Cajon, and that just really did not work. And if you're new to ARES, a reminder that we've got documents and other training information on the sdgares.net website, where if you want to join ARES, you can also go there to sign up to be a member. And we've got the groups.io discussion group for our primary way of getting a hold of everybody. And we also have a YouTube channel, a San Diego ARES YouTube channel, where we put the recorded meetings, and there's a bunch of WinLink training clips there. And as we were talking about before the meeting got started, we're the weekly drill this week that Munir K6AQ puts out. This week we're sending WinLink radiograms, holiday radiograms, out to people we know across the country. Good practice for us, and also good practice for the RRI and NTS traffic handlers. And that's all for me. Thank you, K6RJF.
Very good. Thanks, Rob. Nobody hit this weekend for activities. This is the weekend for the ARRL 10-meter contest. And
You beat me.
CW. What's that?
You beat me.
And it's CW and phone only. So if you're hanging out on FTA, this is not the right mode to be operating. At least last night, it was very exciting. The kickoff was late afternoon for us, but towards even 9 and 10 o'clock last night, band was open on both 6 meters from coast to coast, as well as 10 meters from coast to coast. So everybody got a good start on it yesterday. I didn't see a whole lot, nor did I hear a whole lot of activity. Very, very casually monitoring this morning and just kind of poking around. Haven't been on for the last couple of hours, but yesterday, last night, it was trans-equatorial, North America to South America, and as well from coast to coast. It was pretty amazing just to have an evening like that. Blame it on interesting things happening in the upper atmosphere, like the meteor showers, which I'm sure are, populating little tiny reflective micro dusty things up there, because 6 meters loves that stuff. Might be a little bit noisy from the auroras and from some of the other stuff happening over the poles and around the poles from the CME midweek, but I'm hoping that we get back to where we were last night. Last night was a great sign at a bad part of the day. If today perks up the way where everybody's hoping to, it ought to be one of the better 10-meter contests we've seen in, good grief, probably at least a half a dozen or more years. So be on the lookout for that. Roughly a month from now, we've got, as already mentioned, the January ARRL VHF contest. We usually try to wrap a simplex VHF event around that for communications, seeing where you can talk without any of the conveniences of a repeater, and generally speaking, getting folks up and down the coast on the air. We've had some fairly good success with these things building over the years from a participation perspective, and especially from outside of the San Diego County area. We hope to continue to go out and see that trend, and we are going to continue to work toward that goal. The middle of the month in January, roughly, is when we go out and get a little tiny bit of a reoccurring, lack of a better description, seasonal 6 meter potential for openings. So, it was good to see 6 meters open last night. We hope that in the next couple of weeks, as we start building toward the bottom of the year and the top of the new year, that we'll see a trend for that as well. Not really going to affect anything for what we're going to do for the simplex drill, but it's always exciting to be able to go out and have a technician license and have a sideband capable radio and be able to go out and talk out of state and do fun stuff like that. So we will have opportunities, I'm sure. We always try to go out and keep people apprised of that so they can take advantage of those opportunities. I don't really have anything else operationally. Dave, did you have anything else? Any follow-up?
Yeah, one thing from Kevin's presentation last week from BioEno. He did have a door prize, and what we did is took the list of all the participants, numbered them 1 through 41, and used a random number generator to come up with a winner. And Munir won the door prize from BioEno, and they should be shipping it out. They should have shipped it out on Monday.
Well, let's be fair. It was a random number generator, but there's a backstory to it. We all kind of took a private vote on this, and we decided that we need to pick one guy that's going to go do some hilltop and park activations and summits on the air type stuff. And none of us wanted to go out and do it because we're all comfy in our nice warm ham radio dens that we live in. But, you know, we figured we can kick Munir out with a battery and stick him up on a hill somewhere, and he'll be just fine. He'll live through it. He's young enough.
Oh yeah, by the way, I actually did get it a few days ago. So
Very good, very good.
Yeah, well, you better start charging it because we're going to start kicking you up on the hill. I don't have anything else except for one last item administratively. Dave, were you wrapped up? Was that it?
That's it for me, yes.
Okay, so a brief reminder, I really don't like doing this. This is not one of the things that I'm very practiced at. This is why I'm kind of stumbling over my words right now. But as almost everybody here should already know, ARES is a 501c3, and we don't charge membership. We're not a club. We don't have dues. We don't do things collectively to go out and fundraise. We very much live on the support of folks being able to go out and reach into their pocket for change, throw money into a donut can. And if we break even or come out on top, then we go out and add a little bit to the bank account for ARES itself. Every once in a while, we'll go out and have a grant opportunity. Those don't come along very often, and generally speaking, they are fairly limited in scope and has not improved significantly over the last several years with the economy and other things being factors in that. So it's an opportunity for folks to potentially make a donation to the organization, whether it's monetary, whether it's check, whether it's radio equipment, things like that. And depending on what the nature of the contribution is, we are able to go out and issue effectively what will be a receipt for that to a 501c3 organization, which you should be able in the coming months to be able to go out and take off of your taxes if you pay such things for the year 2020. So bear that in mind. If you have any questions about that, reach out to Rob, myself, or Dave, and we can have that discussion, talk to you about what you'd like to go out and do. The post office box that's listed on the ARES website is still valid. We have been accepting checks there. We've got a couple that have been candidly sitting in the mail slot, so to speak. We need to go out and get that to our treasurer. Obviously, we keep bouncing from everybody getting recommendations on restricting travel and not doing certain things. It makes some of the administrative functions a little more clunky than we'd like to have them. But if you'd like to go out and mail something in, the PO box address is good. If you'd like to make other arrangements, again, talk to Rob, myself, or Dave, and we can help you out with that. And that was all I really have. With that, Dave, you can move into presentation mode for our guest speaker, and we can get on.
All right.
Today's agenda.
Sounds good. I think we've covered all the new people, and I think it's time to get with Dan. You can go ahead and let me make you a co-host here as well, Dan. That way you can share anything you have online, and we can hear what's new with OES in San Diego.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for having me. One quick note while it's on my mind so I don't forget about it, because it's not in my notes to discuss. But Bruce, regarding the kind of funding sources, has it been discussed with San Diego Gas and Electric? They have a SAFE award, and they push these out around the springtime every year to different kind of volunteer organizations most notably the CERT programs, the fire safe councils, and kind of other organizations that more so closely align with public safety. So if that hasn't been pursued in the past, please mark it on your calendars around the March, April timeframe to remind me, and I'll make sure to pass over the kind of the grant application over to Bruce, Dave, and Rob.
Copy that very much, and thank you.
Yep. All right, let me see if I can't share two things. One is going to be in the chat. It should be a Word document that I've created for you all so that you'd be able to view it after the fact as well.
Yeah, you should be able to.
All right, I can do that at the very, very end here. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and discuss this. I wanted to talk about what OES has been up to the last few months since we all last, since I last spoke to you all. We continue to prioritize the mass care and care and shelter planning as it relates to pandemic considerations and having social distancing, and most notably moving from a plan of congregate shelters to non-congregate shelters. So we currently have a request for quote out for a vendor to contract with hotels. Basically, the scope of this is that we would have someone embedded in the EOC. We would tell them how many hotel rooms that we need. They would then go out and secure those rooms and do, from start to finish, the processing of bringing in those people that have been evacuated or displaced due to disaster, getting them into a room, taking care of the payments, taking care of the, the feeding, the room cleaning, laundry service, all of that. So kind of all wraparound services, so that, we can continue to have, family units or household units socially distanced from others, rather than putting them into the kind of the typical high school gymnasium on cots, kind of all sardined in there. We've recently had 2 EOC activations. We activated level 2 for the Valley Fire in September, and then we activated it at a level 3 for the Willow Fire most recently about a week and a half ago. And we were able to really practice this process in place with the Red Cross and our community emergency response teams at the temporary evacuation points. So we're kind of fine tuning that process on how to register folks that have been evacuated, to how we're going to be able to get them into a system for that contractor to be able to provide them those hotel services. The Valley Fire After Action report is finalized. It'll be up on our readysandiego.org website, hopefully by midweek. There were about a dozen or so recommendations that our office is going to have to implement in about, I think the earliest time frame is the end of March, and some of those items will need to be completed by the end of June. Most notably, in kind of my realm, is the alert and warning systems. So we ran into a few snags, if you will. Our current vendor, which is Blackboard Connect, which most notably works with kind of online education. We didn't realize this, but we basically broke the system trying to send an Alert San Diego campaign to about 580,000 San Diegans. Apparently, it wasn't written in our contract that we would ever need to send it out to that many people at once. They more so, or when it was originally implemented in about 2007, that maybe a neighborhood or two at a time. However, we were issuing out a EAS broadcast, a wireless emergency alert, and we were going to follow it up with a Alert San Diego campaign during the Valley Fire in September, because red flag warning conditions were slated to peak around 3 a.m. on the Wednesday during the fire. And so out of an abundance of caution of people that were not only potentially impacted by the fire itself, but also everyone that was currently impacted by the public safety power shutoffs that were ensuing at the exact same time. We wanted to give them kind of that notice that the red flag conditions would be peaking overnight during kind of sleeping hours, if you will, to provide them that opportunity to consider, getting their stuff ready to go in case an evacuation order did occur. So that's kind of the recommended actions we're going to need to go through is addressing our alert and warning gaps and trying to implement some items, which I'll actually talk about in a little bit. Our staff continues to work towards Valley Fire recovery. San Diego was included in a FEMA major disaster declaration, which is incredible, great news for recovery, because that now is going to provide individual assistance programs for the individuals and households that were impacted by the Valley Fire, as well as public assistance reimbursements for eligible Category B costs that the county ensued. So those are emergency protective measures that we took for response and recovery from the Valley Fire. The FEMA's cost share is 75%. So they're going to cover 75% of all of the costs. And we also secured state California Disaster Assistance Act, which covers 75% of the costs. So the state is going to cover an additional 18.75% of the cost share, which leaves the local taxpayers on the hook for only 6.25% of the response and recovery costs, which is great news for us, the local level. We worked with our county flood control partners, and so they actually installed 3 new rain gauges near the burn scar. So out in Barrett Lake, Harbison Canyon, and out in Descanso. So now when there's significant rainfall, we'll get notification that is occurring. It's an automated system with emails and text messages sent out to our office, as well as Department of Public Works and the Sheriff's Department. And we're working with them now to draft out these debris flow, mud flow maps to indicate kind of where the highest risk areas are going to be. I think we've found about 10 homes that have all been contacted and discussed that they are in that area. We've also updated our debris flow warning messages. So we basically took the Lilac Fire messaging and kind of shifted some things around, updated the language so that it's applicable to the area of the Valley Fire. And that can basically give OES and the Sheriff's Department the capability to send this 24, 48 hours before forecasted rainfall in the area that could potentially cause debris flow, and then also assist the Sheriff Department in evacuations if needed. OES is developing an external SharePoint site to collaborate with all of our partners for emergency planning. So far, we have built out an alert and warning page, mass care, child care disaster council, hazard mitigation, and WebEOC. We're hoping that this can be a tool so that there's no duplication of efforts when it comes to various planning, such as building out standard operating procedures or standard operating guides and concept of operations across the different cities, as well as the unincorporated area. Something that may be of interest to all of you, our disaster service worker program, we're going to be taking a little shift coming next year. So we've been working with Cal OES in kind of really defining what roles and responsibilities the classifications fall under for disaster service workers. So currently, registered volunteers with the county, they're usually in one category and one category only. You can be registered as a CERT member, Sheriff Reserve Deputy, a Sheriff Search and Rescue. We have Chaplain Corps and Medical Reserve Corps. And that's pretty much it. So we're working with the state on building it out so that you can have multiple classifications and be covered under the state's DSW program. We're also adding a few others. So we're adding animal rescue, care and shelter, traffic control, emergency operations, or incident command post personnel, as well as communications. So ARES, RACES, ACS, those groups could be registered as the classification for communication, and then fall under the state's kind of DSW program as far as liability coverage as it goes. So hopefully that'll be in place by next spring as well. Recently, OES, in partnership with the county's Aging and Independent Services, including the AFN Working Group, we just completed our brand new AFN Personal Disaster Plan. So it's a personal disaster plan for people who may need assistance. So this was an update to the 2012 version. Now this version is fully ADA compliant. It has information on public safety power shutoffs, pandemic considerations. It's in English and 11 other languages as well. It's all up on our website now. The interactive version is also complete with links embedded, and the audio files are being recorded on Monday. So those will be up onto the website as well. And then a PSA style video is actually in production right now with AIS and OES, and hopefully that'll be up on the website and kind of part of the whole marketing campaign come early next year. I think the end of January is our target date for doing the launch on that. We have a new public facing interactive emergency map. So back in 2017, 3 years ago, December, Lilac Fire happened. Our website broke. We sent out alert and warning, and we kind of made national news when it came to those California wildfires. And so we had too many people go onto our website, and it broke it. So including our map. So our map for the last 3 years has had a static image, a screenshot, if you will, just kind of a JPEG picture of the disaster area. So what we would have to do every time there was an emergency, we would go in to the mapping platform that we had on the back end. We would update with the areas that were under evacuation orders, warnings, what the fire perimeter looked like, and then we would take a screenshot and post that on the internet. The bad part of that was that it wasn't interactive. People couldn't zoom in, people couldn't search for their address to see how close they were in proximity to the nearest evacuation warning or orders. And so we finally got something in place that replaces that static image, and it's extremely useful. You can type in your address, it'll tell you if there's any updated emergencies on it, it'll zoom into it. It's got a bunch of metadata behind all of the different polygons that we put there, so people can see the date and time that it was posted, what areas, any notes or considerations that we want the public to know. So we're really excited about that. We've also partnered with the USGS. Shake Alert is going to be kind of our county's internal branded earthquake or early warning system that'll be tied into the SD emergency application on the mobile devices. So we're actually currently in testing for that and hope to have that rolled out mid-year next year, 2021. Let's see. Oh, other great news: San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Marin, and Sonoma counties are partnering with Cal OES for a pilot program for Next Gen 911 through Everbridge. This started about 3-4 weeks ago. We meet every Thursday, and we're implementing this. It's going to be a statewide purchased system. And this is great news because it actually uses the 911 tax on the bottom of your cell phone bill. So it'll be of no cost to the local government for this. So at minimum, we're going to be utilizing this as a redundant system for our alert and warning program, which, and then at best, it'll replace Blackboard Connect, which is where we found all of those deficiencies through the Valley Fire and that after action report. Lastly, we had the Youth Emergency Readiness Ambassadors Program through the summer. That concluded at the end of September. That was where we had 22 youth from all over the county. Basically, we taught them about emergency preparedness from a wide array of presenters, including OES, CAL FIRE, we had CERT, Animal Services, the Red Cross, just to name a few. And they then created preparedness materials that were geared towards youth their age. So they're between ages of 16 and 21. And they actually documented reach out to about 18,000 youth in the county. So great work on their end with that. And then the website link to kind of take a look at the materials that they've produced is up on our Ready San Diego website as well. Hazard mitigation planning is underway. So that grant cycle will begin in 2023. So our staff is working with the other 18 cities, jurisdictions to kind of get those documents prepared to present to FEMA. PSPS collaboration continues with SDG&E, and we will be working very closely with the jurisdictions in the coming months to have cultural competence inclusion in our 2022 updated operational area emergency operations plan, as that is a new Senate Bill 160 requirement. So some of the items I discussed, I'm going to share my screen real quick, show you on our website. Show of thumbs, are you guys able to see my screen?
We got it.
Yeah, you're up.
Perfect. So on our site, as it is right now, starting next week, the after action report for the Valley Fire is going to live right here off the homepage, and that link is in the document I'll share. So whenever that is posted, again, midweek is our goal. Please take a look at it. It's got a lot of great information about what we did and where our opportunities for improvement lie. The new AFN disaster plan is right here at Make a Plan. So this is our new personal disaster plan for people who may need assistance. It's in the 11 additional languages. When you click on it, it'll open up an interactive version for you, which is really cool. You can click to view it in full screen. It flips through the pages. It's got interactive links that you can click on through it to take you to an advance. It's got a video about 2-on-1. So this was developed by OES and Aging and Independent Services, which has a lot of different services for older adults that are on different types of care programs. And actually, great news, we just found out SDG&E is going to go ahead and print 50,000 of these for us and do a mailing campaign where they mail these out to San Diegans in the region. We're not entirely sure which population they're going to send it to, but we think it's probably going to be people a part of their medical baseline program, which is basically people that have a medical device that's electric dependent, like ventilators and CPAP machines and dialysis and all of these other items that require electricity. So stay tuned, more on that information. So on our SD County emergency page, I want to show you that map. Two ways you can get to there. You can click on maps, or at the very bottom, we have this link to view the new emergency map. So it's going to open up a new page for you. It's mobile friendly as well for cell phones. And I don't know if you noticed, but on the bottom left, it said no new updates. So let's refresh it. So map has been updated. And I could tell you right now, the update that took place is probably, we removed the Valley Fire burn scar perimeter. So we did have the perimeter up here for about a month and a half post disaster, and now that has been removed. So you're able to kind of zoom in. You can, have an address search in here, take you to the EOC. So you can see in proximity of where you are to, the local emergency. It's got an ADA compliant legend so that we can kind of drop these points so that people understand what they are. And when you hover over it, it'll tell you exactly, this is a point of distribution for blankets and the times that it'll be open is Monday through Friday, X to X type of situation. So that's our emergency map. And glad to take any questions.
I have one, sir.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
I'm Mike, XE2N6KZB. I'm retired and live in Baja, Mexico. The amateurs down here through the local radio club provide the ancillary support communications for both Baja State Protection Civil and the city of Tijuana offices of Protection Civil. We work closely with Mario Rodriguez and the bunch. And I'm curious as to when you're going to start doing some more drilling across the border with these people. The last drill was 2 years ago. I sent you a link privately to the photo album of it, where we had tremendous communication support, sans internet across the border to San Diego EOC and the Protection Civil offices down here. Go ahead, sir.
That's excellent. I didn't know that occurred. And I do know that we have slated for spring, summertime, we're trying to get on the books a communications test utilizing various systems. So the idea behind that is that we would have volunteers from various CERT programs opt their phones into the WEA test environment. We would send out a wireless emergency alert that only those that opted into the test environment could receive. And then we would have amateur radio communicate as well on basically the perimeters that we had established to see if there's any bleed over. So I can definitely see where we can integrate the cross-border communications into this. And I'll definitely keep that on my radar and make sure that Bruce, Dave, and Rob are in that so they can share those resources with all of you as well.
Okay, that's great. Our main concern was the communication between the Protection Civil offices and San Diego. One of the other functions our club does is we respond people to the Tijuana General Hospital and any other hospital as requested to provide information to San Diego through the State Department on any U.S. citizens that are going to be transported from a hospital here across the border. And that's the other main function we have. If you could put your email in the chat, I would really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
Done.
I got it. Thank you.
All right, any additional questions here for Dan? I don't see any hands up.
All right, I just tried sharing the document into the chat. Can anyone see it and or access that?
Yes, I see it and I can download it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I just downloaded it, so I don't know if I can open it up yet. We'll find out.
Excellent. And if there are any issues with opening that up, I can email a copy out to Dave, Rob, and Bruce, and they can distribute that accordingly as well.
I just opened it up and it opens up very well. It opens up fine.
Perfect. Good to go. Thank you so much for having me. I really do appreciate the time, and you all have a wonderful weekend and Merry Christmas. We'll talk to you probably early next year.
Oh, definitely, Dan. Definitely. We'll have you back in here to fill us in on what's going on. Rob, do you have anything else?
No. Hey, Dan, thanks for your time.
Absolutely.
Nothing else
Thank you,
for me, Dave.
everybody.
All right. Does anybody else have anything?
Yes.
Go ahead.
For the folks that may or may not be quite as computer savvy as some of the other folks that I know are on the group, Adobe has formally announced over quite a few years actually that the end of December of this year is their final support days, if you will, for Adobe Flash. So Flash is going away. For the folks that are more computer savvy that are in the meeting and on the call, you probably are most familiar with Flash as being one of the most prolifically exploited player and software packages that has ever been put out there outside of Java, perhaps. So my recommendation very strongly would be that if you have the opportunity on your personal PCs or other devices that use Adobe Flash and you find it installed, please do consider uninstalling it and removing it. Most of the major websites and most of the major ISPs that have content hosted on them are likely to be trying to prevent that from loading in your browser, even if you've got it running. They're going to block content that uses it in a attempt, more or less, to go out and prevent the spreading of malware and things like that. So having said the fact that we a beating for many, many years over the quality of the product and the fact that it's so easily exploited, I'm sure they're happy to get it out of their wheelhouse and not have to worry about it anymore. But having said that, for those that have browsers and those that run applications that play video and media, sometimes games and things like that, you will probably still find that there is a dependency that's not going to go away on Adobe Flash, which won't be available. So what ends up happening is, even watching YouTube videos, I'm starting to go out and see prompts like you sometimes will see, or pop-up messages saying, check your Windows 7 drivers, check here for Windows driver updates, free malware check to check your system for malware. Now I'm starting to see, update your media player. Need a replacement for Flash? Here's a replacement for Adobe Flash. Well, certainly we don't want to continue that. So the best safety tip that I can give you for the holidays, other than watching out for phishing emails, watching out for all of the normal seasonal phone calls and scams that are out there, get rid of anything that you've got that requires Flash and get rid of Flash itself. And you'll probably be reading about that more in the next couple of weeks. I don't have anything else. Season's greetings from the computer security side.
All right, very good. I know one of the larger users of that was the National Weather Service for their maps that show the weather and storms coming in and so on. And they've been working for quite a while to update that to a new system that does not use Flash. So that's
Right.
Available on there as an interim for
Yep.
those who go there.
Flash
Anybody else
now,
have?
Flash now and Shockwave in the near future. So all of that
Yes.
stuff is going to be deprecated. Thank goodness.
Yes, definitely. All right, anybody have anything else?
Bob, AI6KU, can I call you? Okay, you're muted. But I
You're
did-
muted, Bob.
Well, I guess I can call him. Wave if I can call you, Bob. Oh,
All right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I pressed the space bar. I thought that was supposed to unmute me, but it didn't. So yes, you may give me a call. Yeah, I think you have my number, right?
I'm looking now. I think I do. Yeah, I got it. I'll call you, okay?
Okay.
All right, very good. Happy holidays for everybody and be safe. And we will see everybody next Saturday.
Bah humbug.
Yes, that too. All right, have a good week.
Thanks,
Take
everyone.
care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right.